Fans, what an effing ball game. How we doing, everybody? Another day, another night where the vibes are high if you're a New York Mets fan. It's your guy Wardy here. We're back at it with our latest New York Metropolitan postgame show presented by Prize Picks and SeatGeek. More on those amazing sponsors later because, folks, spam those damn W's in the live show right here, right now. I want to see them. Spam them in the live chat. Let me see in the comments down below. Let's get the hype going. The New York Mets, for the first time this season, put up 16 mother effing runs. This time on the Washington Nationals, capping off what was a masterful victory. Listen, the Mets were up 3-0 early in this ball game. They had a multi-run lead. They blew the multi-run lead. You get to extras. You get the lead. You lose the lead. You get the lead. And then, bam! A 10-run inning for the New York Mets to cap off what is a huge first game of a 4-game set there in D.C. The resiliency is fantastic. I'm loving the clutch gene. I'm loving the offense. Carson Bench continues to be an absolute demon. Bo Bichette decided to be competent today. Brett the Hitman, more like Brett Bonds Beatty, is all I saw with that 451-foot bomb. So many awesome takeaways for the New York Mets as they take down the Nationals tonight by a final score of 16-7. And I want to focus on the numbers 6 and 7, not because of the stupid thing like this, but because of the fact that the New York Mets have now won 6 of their past 7 games. They are 5 games below 500. They are continuing to chip away, Mets fans. Listen, I get it. A lot more work needs to be done. We are far from where we want to be as a fan base, let alone as an organization. But this, my friends and family, is how you get on to the right path, the right foot forward. The New York Mets taking care of business no matter who they're playing. So spam those damn W's on your way in. Let's get the effing hype going. We got a lot of breakdown in this one after what was a masterful victory. Not only are we going to break down extensively all that happened in this Metropolitan victory, we're going to get onto the pitching. What we liked versus what we didn't like. Christian Scott, not his sharpest, but not his worst. Austin Warren, the best thing since sliced bread as a reliever, which you love. Another day where Brooks Raley just looks like Garbo, sadly, and I love Raley, but he did not look good today. Tobias Myers had some big outs and then not so big. Then we saw Brazo with the big cojones. I mean, this man, talk about balls. Huascar Brazo, man, stepping up big time in extras when the Mets needed it. Craig Kimbrell obviously didn't need to do too much there in the final inning or so. On the hitting end, again, you get a hit, you get a hit, you get a hit, and my God, you get a hit. Carson Bench, another 3-hit game, a 3 RBI day. Bo Bichette looking fantastic with a 3 RBI day. His first home run in what feels like literally forever. Juan Soto getting the job done on base 4 times against his former club. Brett the Hitman, more like Brett Bonds. AJ Ewing being a damn stud. Even we got our guy Tyrone Taylor getting in there. A lot of awesome positives from this one. Even Fidel Brujan doing something positive for you. That's how you know it's going to be a big game, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's let it rip as we always do, especially after a big victory in the 162. The one, the only, the official WardyNYM post-game jingle, baby. Let's go. Let's do this.
Postgame. Postgame. Calling all Met fans.
Let's go.
Join us now. Talking about this game and gonna break it down. It's Mets Postgame.
Shout out to my guys, Greg and Jordan, as always, with the official WardyNYM post-game jingle. Let's make sure camera's locked in. We are locked in. How we feeling, everybody? Listen, I get it. I get it. We're still 5 games below 500. I get it. I'm the same schmuck that was Tony the past month. The season's unofficially over already. I completely get it. I hear you loud and clear. You can call me a schmuck for it all you want. It's fine. Again, a lot more work needs to be done, but I got to ask the temperature check right now to everyone watching live at a replay. I got to ask it right here, right now. How are we feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, at this juncture in the season, May 18th, 2026, the Mets have won 6 of their past 7 games against both good and bad teams. Every team's been better than the Mets for the most part. Let's call it how it is. Let's call it a buck. I want to hear from you guys on a scale of 1 to 10. How optimistic are you with the trend that the New York Mets find themselves on? No Francisco Lindor, no Jorge Polanco, no Luis Robert, no Francisco Alvarez, no Jared Young, even though he's working himself back in Syracuse right now, no Mike Togman, and lo and behold, it's no problem for the New York Mets, okay? They're chipping away, they're finding ways to win, and they're doing it in the best way possible. Who has been at the little core of all this breakout? It's Carson mother effing Bench. Put some respect on the kid's name, damn it, if you haven't already. I told you guys heading into the season, Carson Bench's ceiling for the New York Mets in year one has Jackson Merrill rookie caliber potential. In case you guys don't know, Jackson Merrill, stud outfield for the Padres. He's in his third year with them right now. He stepped up 2 years ago as Juan Soto was traded out of San Diego to go to the Bronx. And Jackson Merrill in his rookie year was an absolute demon. Not only was he a high flyer with the glove, he was tremendous with the bat. Great with the base running. And that multi-tool aspect of not being too high, too low with the mentality is so much of what I see in Carson Bench. I'm not saying they're going to be the exact same player, but what I am saying is that what we're seeing from Carson Bench right now is not at all shocking if you've been paying attention to his game. Since the Mets drafted this man out of OSU in 2024, thanks to David Stearns' first draft pick as Mets president there. Former teammates of Noel McLean during their time at OSU together, might I add. That was a tremendous pick then. It is now. Carson Bench is going to have all the makings of being a guy that gets to a 750 to 800 OPS this season. He might very well find himself batting the 279 to 300 category. The sky's the limit with this kid. The defense is there. The base running's there. The bat-to-ball skills is now there. For everyone that said, oh, Carson Bench can't figure it out. Oh, Carson Bench won't be able to pull a baseball. Oh, Carson Bench won't be able to hit with runners in scoring position. Shut up, you schmucks. Pay attention. It's been north of 3 weeks right now where Carson Bench is that mother effing guy. Let's call it how it is, okay? We have a lot of breakdown on Carson Bench. This was, again, a seesaw of a ball game. The Mets were up early 3-0 as we saw. Then we saw the Nats chip away. They tied in this, which was so frustrating. We get to extras for the second time in as many days for the New York Mets, but thankfully, it did not matter. A massive 10-run 12th inning to cap off a huge victory for the New York Mets, and it is huge against the Washington Nationals. You want to know why it's huge? Because the Nats are ahead of the Mets in the standings right now. The Nats were 23-24 entering tonight's game. The Mets are 20-26. Now they're 21-26. If the Mets can take 3 out of 4 against the Nats, they can find themselves just about a game behind them, if not tied with them in the win column. So there's a lot that can be had here when looking at divisional aspects of leapfrogging between the National Series now, the Miami Marlins series beginning this weekend. Prime time opportunity for the New York Mets to pounce in ways that they have not done so already this year. Listen, they didn't take advantage of their strength of schedule the first month of the year. Now it's time for them to do it now. It's always better late than never, especially if you're still in the first half of the season. So, folks, we're going to get to those donations. We're going to get to those likes. We're going to break down this ball game. But before we do, shout out to our amazing sponsor tonight, like every night, that being our Prize Picks that has you covered for the best in the game. Folks, you want to build a lineups with your guy Wardy, as you guys can see here, looking more or less on strikeouts, hits, stolen bases, walks, you name it. If you guys like to build your daily MLB-related lineups, whether it's Metsian or not, check out what our awesome friends at Prize Picks now that they are officially live in the state of New York. Download the Prize Picks app, link down below, and join the millions of users today utilizing the best app in the game for daily projections and laps. Go ahead, download the Prize Picks app, and use our promo code HMA to get $50 in laps after you place your first $5 lineup. Again, that is promo code HMA to get $50 in laps after you place your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's going to be right in. Shout out to the official marketplace of the New York Mets, that being at SeatGeek. Whether you need Mets tickets or anything, now the 70,000 active events to choose from, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app, use our promo code WARDY10, that is WARDY10, to get 10% off your next ticket purchase. And also, shout out to those that got Wardy Day tickets. We'll talk about that later on in this show as well, everybody. We got a lot of donos that we got to address, so let's go ahead and do exactly that, everybody. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I just realized the post-game jingle was playing again. I apologize. We got a double jingle tonight. That's how you know we're feeling that damn electric, okay? But going back to what I was saying, shout out SeatGeek. Use the promo code WARDY10 and get 10% off your next ticket purchase, whether it's for the Mets or anything in the ticketing space. Link down below. Thank you so much for that. I know you guys got a double post-game jingle unintentionally tonight. That's how you know we're feeling damn electric. You'll love to see it. Let's get to some of these donations. Let's get to some of these holla, and then let's break down what was a really entertaining extra innings victory for the New York Mets for the second time in as many days, everybody. Michael Hoff with the $2 holla all the way back, and the Long Island Railroad strike is over. Love to see it, baby. Thank you so much for the donation, Michael. Hope you and your family are well. Longtime supporter Stephen Kelly, great member of the $5 holla. Most runs ever scored in extra inning by Mets ever previously was 6. Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for the stats, Steven. That's awesome to hear. You're telling me the Mets scored more runs in the 12th inning than they ever have in extra innings in their entire existence of an organization. It honestly isn't hard to fathom that. I believe it. You know, when it comes to extra innings, I can't recall a time that the New York Mets even put up 5 runs in extra innings, let alone 10. And they went absolute batting practice on the Nationals in the 12th inning. They said, all right, can we just wrap this shit up? Okay, we're clearly the better team. Let's go ahead and win game 1 here, shall we? SR with the $5. Thank you, brother. He says, great member. 107 years ago, the 1917 Reds versus the Brooklyn Dodgers, 10 runs and extras. A century we made history. Oh my God, for the first time in a literal over 100 years, the New York Mets are the first baseball team in a hot minute to score 10 plus runs and 1 single inning in extras. Holy guacamole. Jonah with the $2. Mets have been pushed around and now push back. Fight back, baby. Fight back. Hell yeah, Jonah, great member. Hype me the hell up, baby. Master Matt with the $2, great member. Is it me or does the weirdest shit happen versus always versus the Nats? I'm so glad you said that. Last year, there were so many bad funnies and things going awry against the Nationals. NDC in their 4-game set. I remember it like it's yesterday last summer as well. I remember the bad funnies by guys like Stanek and Alonso at first base. We've seen it all. NDC, most certainly. So for the New York Mets, in a game where they have the lead, blew the lead, you get to extras. So many times the writing would be on the wall that the Mets would not go ahead and prevail in this ball game. That was not the case. The New York Mets put the right foot forward, did what they needed to do, and now they have themselves a nice winning 6 of their past 7 ball games to be happy about. Scott with the $5 states the following, great member. You got to be kidding me. The closest nail-biting 9-run beatdown I've ever, literally, it was a nail-biter until it wasn't. That's exactly how this ball game can be described undoubtedly. And it's the Mets on the winning side. Wow, I know. Kelvin with the $2 Clutchson Bench. I love the name. Love it. We love ourselves some Clutch Carson Bench. What an effing dog he is. Malvar with the with the $5, great member. Our run differential's down to -7 from a season high of -31 on April 31st. Things are pointing in the right direction. Got to love it. You gotta love it. Listen, you gotta chip away at the end of the day, right? We're still locked in as fans. We're still paying attention. The team's giving us a reason to pay attention. For all the criticism that I've given towards Carlos Mendoza, I appreciate the fact that he, along with this collective group, have been able to come together, start to build an identity, and shut up schmucks like myself, where I don't need to be advocating for guys to be fired every single night if we actually start to play competent baseball. Very happy, very grateful for it. I still have my criticisms with many, no doubt, but again, the best path to move forward is to consistently win, and the Mets are finally doing that for the first time this season. Steven with the $5, great member. Simeon hits will rise the scoring position on like Nemo. Crazy enough, Marcus Simeon's actually having a better season thus far than Nimmo for the most part. Nimmo's fallen off a cliff after his first couple weeks, and that's not shocking to see. Had the Nimmo trade not happened, we would not see Benjamin Ewing in the slab. Love watching this. 100%. Listen, everything happened for a reason. At the end of the day, as much as it sucks to see Luis Robert down with injury, AJ Ewing would not have gotten the call, nor would he be blossoming at the major league level the way he is right now. AJ Ewing's batting .304 this season with just under 1,000 OPS. He's an effing dog. He got on base for the New York Mets today. We saw a total of 2 times with the RBI. Yesterday, he got on base all 4 times for the New York Mets. He moved up in the order today as well. He moved to the 7th spot when he was initially batting 8th. So, again, very encouraged from what we're getting from not just pardon me, and AJ Ewing, not just from Carson Bench. It's really such a nice collective effort for the New York Mets and their victories right now. That has been the biggest takeaway. It's not just one guy that we're dependent on, where if you say don't have Juan Soto performing, you literally have nothing. But Juan Soto adds to the intrigue here, okay? Because Juan Soto is such a guarantee to get on base anywhere from 2 to 4 times every single night. Knowing that's a lock in your lineup in your top 3, how do you work around it? How do you build around it? And what we have seen over the past week especially is the Mets team from their homestand until now continuing the pace that regardless of what Soto is doing, they're making sure they're tacking on around him. You know, Mark Vientos was like the worst batter for the New York Mets today, grounded into a double play when they could have pounced obviously more in extra innings earlier, which was unfortunate. But even with Marky V being your worst batter today, that's a great thing because Vientos has been your hottest guy in many ways throughout that past homestand. He was very good if your name wasn't Carson Bench or AJ Ewing. So listen, Mark can have himself a bad day, especially when he has been as consistently good as he is lately. I'm really encouraged to see not only what Bench has been able to do, but ultimately what the New York Mets are able to do, guys. Again, this is a big deal for them to be turning out this kind of victory the way that they did. You know the amount of times that we've seen just over the past effing calendar year alone where this club has literally rolled over and died like it's nobody's business. Literally Like it is nobody's business. We have seen this team roll over and do absolutely nothing versus what you want to see them do. For the New York Mets to go out, put out the type of performance that they did, that has me amped up, and it gives me a level of optimism. It gives me a level of excitement to think, you know what, maybe, just maybe, this Mets team might have the gene and the math or all to do something this year. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I'm cautiously optimistic in the best way possible as we're talking right now, late night, May 18th, 2026. DG Ranger, great member of the $5 holla. Wasn't sure if we get drudging like the 19-15 Nemo game last season. Structural mismatch, but score-wise, I'm content. I'm content as well. Listen, again, it wasn't the sexiest game to start by any stretch for the New York Mets, but they did what they needed to do. And speaking of the Mets doing what they need to do, let's go ahead and break down what was so effing good about this offense today. Again, the Mets out-hit the Washington Nationals today, 18-12. Okay, when we take a look at the Mets' offensive production with runners in scoring position today, the Mets were an absolutely absurd 10 for 21. I can't remember the last time the Mets essentially batted 500 with at least 10 effing hits with runners in scoring position. And they still left 8 on base. That's the craziest aspect of it all. It's not just the fact that, oh, you had yourself a blowout victory, you scored 10 runs in extra innings in the 12th. No, you went 10 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Do you not understand how excited that makes me? We have literally seen this Mets team for over a calendar effing week, if not 2 weeks, not even be able to score 10 total runs with runners in scoring position. They did that in one effing game. One game. You take that for what it is and you run with it. You see how far you can get with it. That's what's happening right now as a Mets fan. Let me get this damn camera to focus. Give me 1 second, everybody. Let's lock in. Come on, camera. Come on, camera. There we go. We're locked in. Love to see it. Are we locked in? Camera's still not locked in. Lock in on me, camera. Come on. I know you want it. Hold on. There we go. Now we're locked. All right. Saya, thank you so much for the $21 holla. Greatly appreciate you as always, my guy. Mets win equals $5. 16 runs scored equals $16. Season contribution, $268.50. Our guy Michael here has been donating all throughout the year after every big victory, after every time the Mets score runs and everything else in between. Thank you so much for your continued kindness and generosity. I appreciate that. And thank you not only for the donation, but thank you, Washington Nationals, for being so effing terrible with your fundamental play today that you're really painting the picture beautifully for the New York Mets. 4 hours to the Mets, none. Yeah, we're taking that to the bank because the amount of time, literally the amount of times that we've seen this Mets team, in DC especially, not hit a lick well, not have good fundamental baseball. They've looked like the schmucks, and thankfully tonight, roles were reversed, okay? Also, one quick thing that we did do a quick short on earlier today, but I would like to relay it. The Mets called up the kid that I told you they were going to call up. It made perfect sense because he was slotted exactly the same day as Clay Holmes. The day Clay Holmes goes down with injury, the young southpaw Zack Thornton pitches 6 shutty with like 9 strikeouts for AAA Syracuse. Color me shocked. The Mets have officially called up Zack Thornton. He will be starting this Wednesday for his Major League debut against the Washington Nationals. This is all the makings of being the next young, exciting homegrown southpaw in this Mets rotation. Step aside, David Pearson. Step aside, Sean Manaea. It's time for Zack Thornton to show you what he's all about, and I'm so excited to see what he can do. His pinpoint position and his command is the main focal point as to why the Mets called him up. According to Mets skipper Carlos Mendoza, he has better command that we've seen on paper at this point than guys like Jonathan, who even got a taste of the major leagues last year, and a guy like Jack Wenninger, who was not able to get out of his own mess in under 3 innings a couple days ago. Zack Thornton, no matter how good or how bad he's going to look, he's now being given a leash for this series against the Nationals. I'm so excited to see what the kid is going to do. Really, really good stuff. If you guys have been following the platform, I've been on Zack Thornton's radar for a hot minute now. He has been an absolute dog. Really, really good. Going back to last year, low A and high A, pitched to a sub-2 ERA. The only reason why his season ended short because sadly he went down with ailment last June. That kind of hindered what was otherwise a fantastic output for a huge breakout of a season from last year, and he's continuing that now into this year, okay? Final donation, then let's break down this ball game from our guy Big with a $5 great member. As has been stated, we love seeing these kids come up and help inject life into the offense. I hope to see the same as Zack Thornton in the strike. I agree. Listen, Kodai Senga touched 96 on the gun today, like, you know, working his ramp up, and I quite literally could not give less of a you-know-what, genuinely. Like, the Mets need to find something when it comes to their starters. It might not be exactly in-house options. It might be externally, but you have to consider these in-house options first, because where we are at this point in the season, the Mets are not going to go out of their way to be desperate desperate in trying to make a drastic trade where they're giving up a haul for a guy that isn't necessarily worth it. I understand you may not like that vision or that philosophy. I'm just telling you, this is how it's going to be, okay? So having said that, bearing that in mind, everybody, let's go ahead and let's break it down. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What an effing ball game. What an effing ball game, baby, okay? Carson Bench leads things off for the New York Mets in the best way he knows how, and that's with a nice leadoff single for the New York Mets today. Juan Soto would get on with a one-out knock of his own, but that's all she wrote, as both Vientos and Brett Beatty, the hitman, or Brett Bonds Beatty, as I love to call him lately with the big home runs, they would strike out back-to-back to end the inning unscathed. In the bottom of the first, we would go on to see the New York Mets and Christian Scott work a 1-2-3, all via ground out except for Luis Garcia's line out. A 1-2-3 on Wood, Garcia, and Brady House sets the stage for the second. And the second inning, with 2 outs, we see Tyrone Taylor with a single get all the way to third, thanks to some absolutely god-awful fundamentals by the Washington Nationals. That puts Luis Torrens in a perfect position to bounce. So what does Torrens do? Does what he does every single night. He figures out a way to give yourself either an RBI down the first baseline or down the third baseline, and Luis Torrens, with his 6th double of the year, makes it a quick 1-0 New York Metropolitan lead. Afterwards, we see the bottom of the second, back-to-back strikeouts on C.J. Abrams and Dalen Lyle, and then Jacob Young with a 2-out hit by pitch, and sadly, he would exit the ball game. He got drilled right in the ribs, unfortunately, by Christian Scott. Very unfortunate circumstance. Joey Weimer comes in and run for him, and then we see Jose Tena with his 7th double of the year, ties the ball game just like that, 1-1. Vivas with a walk, and then Drew Millis makes it a 2-1 Nationals lead with a knock of his own. James Wood would strike out, but not before the Nationals now find themselves up a run, 2-1 through 2. In the third, Bo Bichette gets on with a leadoff walk, and afterwards we would sadly see Bo picked off, which was very frustrating in the moment. Listen, we had so many heinous things to say about Bo Bichette. So many heinous things to say about Bo Bichette in the first half of this ball game. But it ain't about how you start, it's about how you finish. And how Bo Bichette finished this game is why we're happy as a Mets fan. At the bottom of the third, we would see Brady House with a 1-out single, then Dalen Lyle with a 2-out walk after a C.J. Abrams strikeout for the second time today against Christian Scott. And then Joey Weimer, who is now in, obviously, for initially what we saw there in Jacob Young. He would rip his 5th double of the year for Weimer. That makes it a 3-1 Washington Nationals lead. In the 4th inning, right away, Brett Beatty, it's high, it's far, and it is out of here. A big boy home run for Brett Beatty's 3rd home run this season. 451-foot bomb. Absolutely demolished. The Mets have a 1-run ball game. They don't do anything else in the 4th, but they're chipping away. In the bottom of the 4th, the final full inning of work for Christian Scott today, he would work around a 1-out walk on Millis to strike out James Wood. The fact that he handled James Wood the way that he did today was so impressive. James Wood, we know, can be such a lethal bat at any point in the ball game. The biggest piece of all that was part of the Juan Soto trade with the Nationals and the Padres all those numbers of years ago. In the 5th inning, Luis Torrens will reach on an error. Shout out to the bad funnies by Luis Garcia Jr. And then we see Carson Bench get on with a walk after the reliever comes in there for Jake Irvin. Then afterwards, we see Juan Soto go Zappo. Juan pokes himself a 2-run opposite field single. That gives the Mets the 4-3 lead. And while they unfortunately did see this ball game get tied, they did a very good job again by staying resilient in this matchup. The Mets are up 4-3. We head to the next half inning where we see Austin Warren doing what he's done best. What a bulldog Austin Warren has been, everybody. Warren works a 1-2-3. Austin Warren, who I've told you guys about for the past calendar year, he's a nice Swiss Army knife option for the New York Mets. Every single time the Mets have called Austin Warren up, he's been productive. He's done something to be happy about, okay? And now Austin Warren is essentially having a Rico Garcia run for the New York Mets right now. His buddy hasn't allowed much of anything since being called up, and that has continued. We'll get into more in his numbers shortly. In the 6th inning, A.J. Ewing would fly out, and then Tyrone Taylor with his 3rd double of the year. The Mets strand him there at second. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning where we see a Joey Weimer walk, and that's all she wrote. Another beautiful inning of work for Austin Warren. So guys, right away, between Christian Scott, and let's fix the damn camera again. Give me 1 second. Can we focus, please? Christian Scott, not his sharpest outing. We'll get into his final line grades here shortly on a scale of 1 to 10. Austin Warren. Austin Warren. Can we appreciate the greatness that is and was and most certainly will continue to be Austin Warren, guys? Let me enlighten you right here, right now on the Austin Warren talk, okay? Austin Warren has done the following for the New York Mets in his last 9 appearances. 14 innings, 6 hits, 1 unearned run, 0 earned runs, 7 walks to 15 strikeouts. Love the K to walk ratio. Love the run ratio. Loving everything. about Austin mother effing Warren. You guys let me know, out of all the pitchers tonight, who was your biggest standout and why? Spam in the live chat. Let us know in the comments down below. I'll get some more on the Mets pitching once we're done breaking down this amazing victory. In the 7th inning, we see Bo Bichette again do something that Bo hasn't done in literally a calendar month. That's an extra base hit, baby. That's a curveball hunt upstairs that he absolutely blasts against the southpaw and Parker. 105, 409 feet. See ya. Bo Bichette, just like that, gives the Mets a 5-3 lead. Big home run for Bo. Get the damn monkey off your back. Show us why you're worth at least a sliver of your $42 million gross payout for 2026. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Brooks Straley comes in. And again, I love Brooks Straley. I love the man of death. Back-to-back outings. He's not been it, however. He gives up the 13th double of the year in the lefty-lefty matchup to James Wood. Then we see Curtis Mead get on with a walk after the call would be confirmed. Brady House with a walk. It's bases loaded already for Brooks Straley with no outs. C.J. Abrams sac fly makes it a one-run ball game. And then a Lyle pop-out would thankfully be able to get the job done for Brooks Straley to exit this inning for Tobias Myers. And Tobias Myers, what does he do? Well, he sees Nasim Nunez steal his 20th bag of the year because that speed demon is running everywhere rampant on the Mets or whoever he is finding himself facing. Joey Weimer works a walk. It's bases loaded for Jose Tena, who already had an RBI double, his 7th of the season earlier in this ball game. And what happens? Tobias Myers, top cheddar, four-seam, 96 gas. See ya, baby. He strikes his ass out. They get out of the bases loaded jam unscathed. We head to the 8th. In the 8th inning, the Mets do nothing. And in the 8th inning for the Nationals, they sadly do something. With 2 outs, James Wood records a knock. Then Curtis Mead, his 8th double year, that ties the ball game 5-5. Tobias Myers was great until he wasn't in this case. And then we head to the 9th inning for the New York Mets. We're in the 9th. The Mets do nothing. And the bottom of the 9th, Luke Weaver is able to work out of a one-on jam with Joey Weimer getting on with a one-out hit by pitch. At the 10th inning, we see the New York Mets have something cooking, right? Bo Bichette moves the runner to third with the flyout. We see a Juan Soto intentional walk, and then a Mark Vientos brutal double play ends the inning unscathed as the Mets were not able to pounce there. And the bottom of the 10th, Huascar Big Balls Brazo, man. We got to call it how it is because that's exactly how it is. Brazo comes in. What does he do? We see the runner shift to third. Then we see the intentional walk on James Wood. It's the exact same thing that happened to the Mets a half inning prior. But here's what happens. Curtis Mead gets on with a walk. It's bases loaded, guys. Then we see a huge force out that gets an out, which you love to see. Then C.J. Abrams strikes out swinging, guys. Huge bulldog inning in the 10th by Huascar Brazo, man. Gets out of the bases loaded less than 2 out jam unscathed. We head to the 11th inning. Mets take a 6-5 lead in the 11th inning thanks to Marcus Semien with the sac fly. A.J. Ewing gets on with a knock. That's all she wrote. In the bottom, everybody, of the 11th inning, we would see, sadly, the Nationals respond. C.J. Abrams, he's on. Joey Weimer, who killed the Mets all game, rips an RBI single. It's tied 6-6, okay? Then we see a Vivas double, and then what do we see? A huge out for the final out of the inning for Huascar Brazo as he escapes it unscathed, escapes a 2-on, 2-out jam to keep it a tie ball game for the 12th. And the 12th, everybody, this is where if you're a Nationals fan, you're going home if you haven't already, okay? Let's break it down. In the 12th inning, we see with 1 out, Carson Bench gives the Mets the lead. Bench, fantastic job, drives in Tyrone Taylor with a knock. You love to see that, baby. And afterwards, Bo Bichette gets on with a single. Then we see the intentional walk to Juan Soto's bases loaded for Vidal Brujan, the veteran infielder, getting some play for the New York Mets today, and he makes the most of it as he would rip an RBI single on the ground and give the Mets an 8-6 lead. Then Brett Beatty, the hitman, says, oh, baby, let's have some fun. He already had a bomb on the day, 451 feet. Let's make it a 106-mile-per-hour knock to drive in some runs. The Mets would score more. They're now up 10-6. The floodgates are open. Brett Beatty, have yourself a mother effing day. Marcus Semien says, I want more. Semien with an RBI single. That makes it 11-6. But we're not done yet. A.J. Ewing with the RBI single upon review. It's 12-6. Afterwards, Hayden Senger, who started the inning, mind you, or the past inning or so, he gets on with a single. Carson Bench, we've already seen him. He does it again. His 7th double of the year. That drives in more runs. That gives the Mets a 14-6 lead, and it continues to get better. Bo Bichette says, let's do this again. Another time in the inning. Let's go. Bo with his 6th double of the year. That's a 16-6 New York Mets lead. We head a half inning later. James Wood makes a 16-7. Who gives a shit against Craig Kimbrell? That's it. That's all she wrote. The New York Mets take down the Washington Nationals tonight by a final whopping effing score of 16-6. 7. Kind of good if you ask me. Kind of good. On the pitching end, let's break down the pitching. We're not going to overly deep dive Christian Scott today. I'm just going to summarize what Christian Scott provided with his arsenal for the New York Mets in this big victory against the Washington Nationals today. Let's go ahead and do it if I'm allowed to. My computer's now running slow on me. Okay, I think we're good now. Christian Scott threw the following: the four seam, the cutter, the sweeper, the sinker, and the splitter, okay? What did we see? My biggest takeaway was velocity. Christian sat 96 on the gun today, sat right around 90 on the cutter as well, and the sinker was a little up at right around 93, closer to 94. Christian Scott, again, not sexy, not dominant. I'm going to give Christian Scott today a 5 out of 10 for his final line grade. Mets collective pitching staff today allowed 7 earned runs across 12 innings, but a lot of really good jobs of guys getting out of their own jams unscathed. I'm going to give the Mets pitching staff today, even for a day where they gave up 7 runs, I'm still going to go on a limb, and I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10. I thought the Mets pitching was very solid today, all things considered. Austin Warren pitched like a man possessed. We saw Brazo do his thing. Both absolute bulldogs in the New York Mets bullpen. Really, really good job from what we saw everyone else in company. So I'm going to go 6 out of 10 for the collective pitching staff. I'm going 5 out of 10 for Christian Scott. And my pitcher of the game is undoubtedly Austin Warren. Listen, Brosman did a tremendous job keeping the Mets in this ball game, but Austin Warren did such a damn good job to keep the Mets in this after Christian Scott was done on just 4 innings. Really, really good. Really nice. Lindor comes back next week. No, Lindor doesn't come back for at least a month, and we broke that down in our video earlier today that you can check out. On the hitting end, everybody, Carson Bench. Oh my God, I'm loving Carson. How can you not love Carson Bench? The amount of fans that thought that Carson Bench was never going to be able to put it together because he just didn't hit well his first 2 to 3 weeks is hilarious. Actually hilarious. Carson Bench, 3 for 6 with 3 runs scored. The double, the 3 RBIs, a 253 average, and 673 OPS. Guys, he's climbing. He's climbing that damn ladder. He's looking so good as a plate setter. Perfect Brandon Nimmo replacement as a high-flying, young, dynamic outfielder batting from the left side. Has shades of Nimmo, but he's a more well-rounded athlete at his age than what Brandon was. Brandon, no slight on him, was not as good of a defender, nor was he as good of a base runner. Carson Bench, sky feels like the limit with this kid in the best way possible. Bo Bichette, 3 for 6 with a 2 runs scored, the double and the homer. 3 RBIs and a walk, on base 4 times tonight and 6 tries. 219 average, 570 OPS. That's how bad Bichette's been this year. Even with that kind of day, he still has those numbers. Juan Soto, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs and 2 walks, on base 4 times and 5 tries. 286 average, 873 OPS, doing what the one and only typically does. Over 5 was Mark Vientos today, batting 232 with a 678 OPS. Fidel Brujan, 1 for 1 with 2 runs scored, 250 average, 650 OPS. Brett Beatty, 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs, 236 average, 670 OPS. Marcus Semien, 1 for 5 with a run scored, a pair of RBIs with 228 average, and a 605 OPS. AJ Ewing, big day for AJ in center, baby. Love the defense, love the base running, love the bat to ball skills. 2 for 6 with a run scored, and an RBI, a 304 average, and a 989 OPS. Love to see it. Tyrone Taylor, 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored and the double, and getting all the way to third on what was a single earlier today thanks to some bad fundies. He's batting a $198 with a 553 OPS. Luis Torrens doing what he does best. That's hitting with runners in scoring position. 1 for 3 with the RBI double. 206 average, 567 OPS. MJ Melendez did come in a pinch hit, 0 for 1. And Hayden Senger went 1 for 1 with a run scored. MJ's down to 237 average, 762 OPS. Hayden Senger, 167 average, 334 OPS. Mets fans, that is your Metropolitan Lab today. That is how the Mets concluded this ball game again by going on to win by a final big score tonight of 16-7. Pretty damn good. Nick with the $10. Thank you, Nick. He states the following. Seems like they're playing for each other now. 100%. Beautifully said. Perfect way to say it. They're playing for each other now. Soto running to hug Benj after his walk-off yesterday felt different. They're passing the bat and getting it done collectively. Are the New York Mets back? The vibes are certainly back. The vibes are really making me feel like we're back. So I'm loving every single aspect of this. I really, really am. Let's double check. I want to make sure I don't miss anything here, everybody. I'm just going to go ahead and see if there's any key stats that we want to, throw out there from tonight's game or anything like that. Let's see. Yeah, that's crazy. The Mets are the first National League team to score 10 runs in an extra inning since the Cincinnati Reds did back on May 15th, 1919 against the Brooklyn Robins, as we discussed earlier. That's actually insane. Awesome victory for the New York Mets, and it was good because they literally got to the point of literally using the the white flag and just using a position player to pitch at the end of this ballgame for the Mets. So we'll take it, baby. I'm really happy that the Mets were able to get the job done. I hope they can continue this tomorrow. Manana, be on the lookout, everybody. Just an FYI, if I'm not live directly after the ballgame tomorrow, don't worry. I will have content either late tomorrow for you guys or at latest early in the AM the next day, recapping the game and getting into other plethora of topics regarding this team. Guys, Carson Bench has literally been a man possessed. I'm so excited to break down more about his game because I've been so effing impressed with his game. That's been the biggest takeaway. Carson Bench really looks like he's becoming something special for this New York Mets team. And beyond that, you're not just getting him to be that true plate setter at the top of the order. You're getting so much good that's happening around him as well. You're getting a healthy balance with Juan Soto back in this lineup. You're getting the AJ Ewing batting towards the bottom, looking really good. Moving Ewing to the leadoff and no, I don't think you got to front load it. I actually like how the Mets have it right now. I think Ewing towards the bottom of the lineup is good. That brings more balance. Whereas if you have Ewing and Benj back-to-back in the lineup, you're kind of top-heavy with two similar profiles as plate setters, high-flying outfielders. That, again, could be very productive for you, but I don't think the Mets need to do that. I think they're better suited with actually what they're doing. One of the rare times you're going to see me actually like what the Mets and they're doing when it comes to their lineup construction. I think AJ Ewing batting anywhere from the 7th to 9th spot is fine because he's essentially another plate setter, and then you get back to the top of the order with Carson Bench and make stuff happen. So it's kind of one of those things, everybody, where if it ain't broke, why fix it? And that's most certainly true with the New York Mets, with the way that they've been playing since AJ Ewing has been called up, and the way that not only they're getting this vibe and this jolt in their lineup with guys like AJ Ewing and Carson Bench, but the way that the veterans are really feeding off of it around. You know, this is how you build identity, this is how you build structure, and this is how you build, hopefully, a team that can find themselves in the right direction to success versus lack thereof. If you guys and gals have not done so already, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button on your way, and I greatly appreciate it. We are going to wrap up the show here soon, but before we do, I want to shout out what we have, which is an amazing event upcoming, everybody. We still have tickets available, even though we do not have much. We have more tickets that were bought yesterday. Thank you guys so much for that. Everybody, Wardy Day 2026 is becoming more intriguing by the second. A month ago, you would have said, Wardy, I'm not spending a dime on any games for the Mets this summer. Now you're saying to yourself, oh shit, I might have to lock in. I might have to use a promo code Wardy10 and get 10% off my next ticket purchase for the New York Mets. I know, I got you covered. Link down below, baby. But I also got the link for you guys to check out your guy Wardy. Hang out with your guy Wardy. June 12th, 2026 against the Atlanta Braves. Friday night, blackout night, fireworks night for an amazing Wardy Day. The second of its kind, the first annual one for this year, but we did one last year as well. We sold out right after the trade deadline, had so much fun. This is what you get with the following perks. If you guys want to hang out with your guy Wardy for an entire Mets game here in 2026, you get the following. One, you get open bar. So in case you guys enjoy your alcoholic beverages, especially on a nice hot summer night there, Friday night against Dom Smith and the Atlanta Braves, you guys have open bar in the exclusive left field lounge section. We're going to be sitting in the left field lounge, which is 2 different level seating, booth seating, so it's not typical seats that you have around the stadium. You can mix and match your seats however much you want, have a lot of fun with it. There's a bar directly to the left of us that you will have open bar from pregame until they stop serving. So you guys can have a lot of fun really fast up the game. Just don't get too crazy too fast, because then you won't be able to appreciate the game and you won't even be able to talk with me because you're going to be slurring your words doing whatever you're doing. So you get open bar, you get an $18 food and drink voucher that you can use anywhere around the stadium. You also are going to be getting a pregame photo op on the field with yours truly in the outfield. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go on the field together. And you guys are also going to be able to get Wardy Day merchandise, the first and only of its kind. To everyone that attends Wardy Day, you're going to get an exclusive Wardy Day shirt. You're also going to get a Naruto Mets theme jersey for the first 15,000 that attend the stadium out of the ballpark that day. A lot of awesome stuff. You're going to hang out with me the entire ball game. We're going to be chopping up. I can't wait to talk with each and every one of you. I'm going to be making some short form content for socials and the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to be asked questions, Mets related, do some fun trivia stuff, we're going to do that too. We're going to do our post-game show live from there and everything else in between. So Mets fans, if you like what you hear, if you want to join your guy Wardy this summer, June 12th, right around the corner, less than a month away, get your tickets while they still last because we only have a handful left. Link down below. Thank you so much for exactly that. I cannot wait to see you all at the stadium. Thank you so much for hitting that like and subscribe button on your way in. Christian, all you have to do to get your Wardy Day ticket is click the link down below in the description. There are various links. I have my sponsors and prize picks, SeatGeek, that you can check out. But if you go down, you'll see a link that says Wardy Day 2026 tickets here. Click that link. It says eventcreate.com or so. Click that link. You'll have your ticket options right there, my guy. And everyone that buys tickets, you will officially get your tickets the week of the event. The Mets do not put out all the tickets for me to relay to you guys until the actual week of the ball game. So in case you're wondering, Wardy, I bought my ticket. Why didn't I get it yet? I promise you're going to get it. They just don't release them fully. They only give me a quarter of the whole package because we have a bunch of tickets, and I'll be getting that the week of the actual event itself. So thank you guys again for supporting. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to bounce out because I got to get out of here. But you guys and gals have a tremendous rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. Big ball game, big victory. Vibes are electric. You love to see it. Let's continue to get the ball rolling, and let's continue to win ball games. Love you guys to death. Let's go Mets, baby. Talk to you guys and gals again